Hey, it's me. Welcome back to the podcast. So, I want to apologize for last week, because I'm pretty sure anybody who's seen my little ad for the season premiere, it said every Monday at 3 p.m. and nothing happened last Monday at 3 p.m. And that's because stuff happened. So, first and foremost, I ran the 5K. I ran a part of it, and the Night Nation run was really fun. I went with my friend. It was fun. A lot of cool people. Um, I swallowed a bug from breathing so hard. The hydration station was just body temperature water, which was not hydrating at all, but it helped, I guess. And then at one point, I ran into this guy. He was supposed to be running with some friends, and one of his friends couldn't make it because he had to work. So he was getting different people to say, F you, Wallace. And he asked me to do that with him. And I told him, hey, I can't do that for you because I don't curse. I don't drop F bombs. And he said, oh, okay. Well, can you at least say screw Wallace? Yeah, I can. So he throws on his Snapchat. He's doing his whole thing. Hey guys, this is Chris. I think his name was Chris. I don't remember. And he said, we ran 5 miles. We didn't run 5 miles. A 5K is 3.1 miles. And he said, I'm here with my man Will. And Wallace, if Will can do it, why couldn't you be here? And then he points the camera at me. And I'm just like, screw you, Wallace. But it was fun. But that weekend as a whole, from Friday to Sunday, that period of time was kind of bittersweet. Without getting into too many personal details, just things kind of just became disheveled, and there was a I don't want to say there was a falling out, but yeah, so just some things happened, and it was very emotionally taxing. Ergo, I didn't do the episode because I needed to recover emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. That being said, I'm a lot better as the days continue to push forward, um, and I can solely give credit to God for that. Every day's a little bit better. The smile's a little bit more genuine. The laughter's a bit more genuine, and yeah, God's carrying me, and I'm just doing stuff. Like I went with my friend a couple of days ago to midget wrestling, and I know some people are kind of about that term midget, but that's what it's called. It was Micromania Midget Wrestling, and we went there. We saw um, Little Joker. We saw Chica, I believe her name was, and the two other guys. It was fun. It was 4 wrestlers in total, 3 matches in total. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun, but there was this lady behind that kept screaming, "Put him in the trash can." And it was funny, like maybe the first 2, maybe 3 times, but then when she kept blaring that out and kept rooting for her guy, which I don't even think she knew who she was rooting for, it got real annoying real fast. I was hoping somebody would tell her to shut up. Nobody did, but it was fun. I definitely would go back. Me and my buddy, we had a blast. It was fun. As you know, with the Cup of Curious podcast, the theme, well, there's no theme. The the hook of the podcast is a drink. And this time, last episode, the first episode was the Kentucky Spiritless Bourbon, the non-alcoholic bourbon, which I did link in my profile. I'm not a sponsored. I'm not a sponsored. I am not sponsored. I'm not getting paid to do that. I just want to share what I'm drinking with you. And tonight, I'm drinking Brainwash by Wundergrounds. I'm so sorry. Again, I have to emphasize this is 720 on my camera, but it's coffee, which I love coffee, by the way. I'm part Puerto Rican, part French, for those of you who didn't know. and coffee is in my blood. Now, what's special about this is that it's mushroom coffee. And I know mushroom coffee's been a thing for like the last couple of years, maybe 2 or 3. And people have been promoting its benefits and stuff like that. I don't know. I got it because of the octopus. It's cool. And like any other drink I have on here, I will link it in my description. If you're listening to this podcast, I'll link it there. But again, it's Wunderground's Brainwash Superboost Cold Brew with Oat Milk. Original flavor. Focus and energy. A secret weapon to fuel your genius. This Superboost shakes that noodle and fills... This Superboost shakes that noodle and fills you with heck yeah. Smooth cold brew coffee with a splash of oat and infused with organic aptogenic. Aptogenic? Can I drink this? Is this drugs? Is this liquid drugs? Hold on, I'm gonna Google it real quick. Okay, so it's not like psychological or anything like that. It's just it's medicinal. Like I take ashwagandha, right, for mood stability and stuff like that, and for its other benefits. So it's kind of like that. Okay. So back to what I was reading. Adaptogenic mushroom extracts for focus, energy, and good mood vibes. Because we're all about the vibes here at Cup of Curious. No, we're not. So the mushrooms in question are reishi, or is it reishi? Cordyceps, coffee bean, it's not a mushroom, lion's mane, and chaga. Well, what are we waiting for? Now, on their website, it is priced quite high. It's definitely one of those things you probably could find in a Whole Foods. I was lucky enough to find this at my local grocery outlet, which I think is a good place to check out when you want to buy something that's kind of like off the... Oh no. Oh no. And I already opened it. Oh, and I forgot to shake it too. Well, I guess that's what mushroom coffee smells like. I mean, it smells earthy. There's definitely a cold brew coffee undertone to it. I just So this is one of those cases where it tastes way better than it smells. Because if you get this on the nose, you probably will be turned off to drink it. But it's harmless, really. Yeah, that's but it's like it looks like iced coffee. Like I'm sure if I poured in a glass, and I do have glasses over here, but I don't feel like getting up. Use your imagination. That's rude. Hold on. Got the glass. So we're gonna use my whiskey glass to look at that. Iced coffee, chocolate milk. Don't smell like it though. Yeah. I mean, you could probably add sweetener to it because it's not really that sweet at all. Well, there's 20 grams of sugar in there apparently. But yep, Brainwash by Wunderground. It'll be linked in the description down below. Not a sponsor. Not yet. On with the show. So you've probably seen the title of this episode. And yeah, it's a doozy. It's a spicy one. So I want to preface this by saying I'm in no way glorifying what happened to me. I'm not glorifying sexual sin. I'm not glorifying any of this of the I'm not glorifying anything that I'm telling you today or trying to put it in a positive light. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. So I guess I can start off by saying, for those people who know me, I haven't always had the highest, um, not self-respect, because that's funny to say. It's not funny to say, but the best confidence. It's not that what I'm looking for. It's slipping my mind. Where you know what I need? I need brainwash. That's what I need right now. Self-esteem. I did not. It works. I did not always have the best self-esteem, especially when it came to women, and um, and it's funny in hindsight. I've always. I mean, I like women. I think they're great, but I never had the confidence to really, approach a woman. Um, it and it's funny because since I was 13 years old, I made this promise to myself at 13 years old that before I turned 21, I would find a girlfriend. It never happened. And I probably blame the fact that I wasn't even actively searching, probably because of my low self esteem. It's not to say I didn't like anybody. There were plenty of girls I liked in middle school, in high school, in church, in the streets. Oh, yeah, my eyes were everywhere. But nothing really came to fruition. Um, I have definitely lusted before. I think every man has. Um, I've definitely been infatuated. I've been in limerence, and I can safely say that I've only genuinely been in love, sincere, real love once, and nothing came out of that. So I'm just like in a place where it's like, uh, it'd be nice if something happened eventually. Especially when you're getting older and you see all your friends and your family, you know, doing well romantically for the most part. Um, I just don't know. It made me think that there's something wrong with me, that there's, something about me that's off-putting. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't know that, my size is an issue. There's a lot of women who just, or a mass majority of women, I'm going to say, and I could be wrong, that don't that aren't attracted to big guys, and that's fine. I do think there's some sort of hypocrisy there because we have this mad love for thick women, but when it comes to the big boys, we don't get no love. I don't care what SZA says. But anyway, that's not why you're listening. You're listening to see what I have to say about the experiences I've had because I had some. And I guess another preface, and I think I mentioned this in the initial podcast. But if not, I've definitely mentioned it in older episodes. Uh, and it still stands. I'm a virgin. I am mint condition in the box, untouched, like a white Crayola crown. Before I was ashamed to say that. Now I really don't care. I think it does make me not special because honestly, that's something we all should strive for. But it does make me uh, definitely different. It makes me, I guess, countercultural in a way because all the guys, your initiation into manhood is to sleep with a woman, and so which burned itself into my brain at one point. Like, yo, if I don't get laid, man, I ain't nothing. But I think what ultimately stopped me from ever doing so, it wasn't always because I fear God and God's gonna strike me down if I do. It was actually something I've picked up from my parents, and that was because my parents recently celebrated 40 years of marriage. It's a long time to be with somebody. I might talk about that a little later, but it was the fact that me looking at that told me that if I'm going to be intimate with somebody, even sharing my first kiss with someone, because I haven't kissed a woman either. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. Um, it's going to be with someone I love, not just somebody I find attractive. And that happened plenty of times where an opportunity presented itself and I could have done it, but I didn't because I didn't love the woman that wanted to do it with me. Maybe we'll start small and work our way up into promiscuity to see where it goes. Um, yeah. So I guess the first story, and I guess maybe there's three in total. The first story will probably be the sext that I received. So one day, I'm actually outside talking with my friend. Shout out to Oscar again. Um, by the way, me and my buddy Oscar has a podcast or had a podcast called Bizarre Vibes. It's pretty much a yapping podcast. Um, we might start doing it again through this format of like video and see how that works. But if not, you can always check it out. I'll link that in the bio. Just keep in mind, it's not this. Okay, it's two very different personalities of two good friends, but just fair warning. So, but yeah, I'm talking with my buddy Oscar outside, just cutting the chatter, shooting the crap, like we always have. And one night we're talking, and this was right after Bible class. And I'm there talking to him. We're talking about whatever. And I feel my phone vibrating. I look, it's a text message. It says, hello. And it's from a number I'm not familiar with. And I'm the type of dude that, like, when a fake number or a scammer, texts me, I like to entertain the conversation just for the sake of to see where it goes. One time I got one of those text messages that says, "Hi, we missed your house when we were trying to deliver your package. Can you please give us your address?" And I said, oh, "Okay." And I put 123 bikini bottom in the in the text message. So I do stupid stuff like that. So when this text came to me and said, "Hi," I said hello back. They said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm fine." And they said, "Okay, that's good." And it ended right there. And I put my phone back in my pocket, continue talking. It goes off again. I look and there's a video attached. I click on the video. I look at my phone. Next thing you know, there's booty and kitty in my face. If you know, you know. And this person's just bent over, shaking what she got. And I think there was Chris Brown playing in the background, which was like probably even a bigger warning sign. And I'm just there talking to Oscar, and I'm looking at my phone, looking at what this woman sent me, just entranced. And then I just casually add, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I just got a sex video." And Oscar's initial reaction, "Nice." But that's a guy thing, right? Under normal circumstances, it's like dope. I didn't know how to process that because, again, with my low self esteem at the time, I didn't think if a woman was showing me any kind of interest, it was because she either felt bad for me or it was a prank. So to see that apparently this woman thought that I was attractive enough, or she liked me so much that she needed to, you know, take off her clothes, hit record, did what she did and sent it to me. As a man, that does do something. It does something to your pride. Like, yo, maybe I'm not so ugly. Maybe I am attractive. And then conviction hits because while as a man, and I admit I watched that video multiple times, I was hit with conviction because, like I said, this is right after Bible class, so I knew I couldn't keep it. What made it worse, and I don't even know. Yeah. What made it worse was that, like, after the video, I I could have said, gee, thanks, or I could have put like some weird emojis or whatever, but instead I said, do I know you? And she said yes. She said yes, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I won't ever do it again. I'll stop bothering you. Now, the issue is there's this girl who I know apparently, who now I know what she looks like naked. Did I say that right? I I now know what this girl looks like naked, who I apparently know, and which means if I know her at this period of time, in this period of time, excuse me, that means this is a girl from church. That means right after Bible class, sis felt like, hey, I want to show Will what I got, and she did, and it it was hard to I'm so sorry because I'm like trying to be transparent, but I'm trying to be respectful at the same time. It was difficult because as a man, you want to keep that for obvious reasons. But then as a believer, it's like, no, you shouldn't. And so I did delete the video. I deleted it the same night. But then I caught myself trying t- to find any other way to bring it back. And in one way, I knew it was lust because that's what lust does. But at the same time, I knew it was because at that period of time, because this was years ago, years ago, it was also the fact that this was one of the few, if not the only times, a woman has expressed such interest in me to this degree. And it did something to me. And I wanted that back. I never got it back. I tried. I'd use apps that would that had the ability to recover old deleted photos and videos, and it found it, but it only found it as a screenshot. It didn't have the video, and it was just like, well, that's that. But after knowing who it was, well, no, that's a lie. Let me not say that because I never confirmed who it was. I think I knew who it was. It wouldn't be the first. It wouldn't be the last time. Excuse me. That this person, and again, this is assuming this was the same person, would do something questionable like that around me. And for that, we have to fast forward. We have to fast forward to when my teacher got uh not got, but like I guess he was presented a new opportunity to be a pastor at a church. I don't want to misquote him, or I don't want to like frame that situation wrong. But ultimately, we went to a new church, and when I say we, him, myself, my sister, I went because again, he was my spiritual teacher, and I wanted to go in support of him, but I also wanted to go, to spread my wings in a sense. I got my pastor's blessing to leave, and we were off to the races. Now, one night after service, again after service, everyone's going home, um, and this person of the faith. I mean, obviously it's a female, so I don't want to like be, you know, that vague about it. So this girl that I know, she offered to take me home because at this time I didn't have my license and or car, and so she was kind enough to offer me the ride home. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, because something like that, like the sex, doesn't just go away. Like it's especially again, and I hate to repeat it, somebody with a low self-esteem like that at that point, it stays ingrained. So I'm in the car with her, and I'm just trying to like have a conversation with her to avoid thinking about that. Ooh, sorry, I almost spilled my brainwash. I guess it was summertime. I don't really remember, but I'm guessing it was hot or something because she decided that it was cool that, while she's in the car with me, to put her hand under her shirt and take off her bra throw it behind the seat. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe it wasn't her intention. Maybe she really was hot. I'm pretty sure. I know y'all take off y'all bras I guess y'all take them off when it's hot. I don't know if I don't know. I really don't know. But just knowing, because she had eventually confessed that she had feelings for me. To quote her, I had a crush on you, but I got over it quick. So it was like, oh. I mean, not that I was interested in her. Um, but it was just like fascinating knowing what I know. And again, I can't 100% confirm that it was her, but I think it was her. Like I'm like 80% sure it was her. I don't hold nothing against her. I never confronted her about it because that's a very awkward thing to do. But she's doing well as far as I see. Um, I don't envy anything. I don't have any what ifs that linger. I don't wish for anything for us to happen. I don't wish for anything to happen between her and I. But like I said, that was like kind of the least of the things that has happened. Um, Something that was probably close to that was again after a lot of these things happen after service. That is so sad, actually. Um, it was after your youth service in church, and um, excuse me, I'm a sip. I'm a sip my brain wash. It was after your youth service. I get a phone call, and again, it's from a number I don't recognize. So I'm assuming they're using an app. Either either they're using somebody else's phone number whose number I don't have to do what they did, or they're using an app to create a secondary number to do what they're doing. Do to do what they were doing. But this was just a phone call, and this phone call was from a woman, obviously, and she was just straight moaning in my ear. She was just moaning in my ear, letting me know what she thought of me, or what she assumed of me. I'll put it that way. And I'm just there listening to her, like, who is this? Again, the questioning is like, who is this? And I think subconsciously is like, why do you find me attractive enough to do something like this? Who are you? And um I kind of think I knew who that was too, based on the voice, and obviously I'm not going to reveal names or anything like that. I guess because these women, and maybe some women in general, don't expect a guy to question it just to go with it. But again, because I have that thing in my head of, I'm not even gonna entertain this kind of thing because I don't love you. I think that kind of like throws a wrench in their machine. And man, I'll tell you what though, that mindset has saved me a few times. A few times I probably like, man, I probably could have had babies running around for all I know. I could have had babies running around. I would have been ruining relationships. I was gonna be, man. These girls were gonna turn me into a hoe. I could have ruined relationships, families. I could have ruined marriages because there were times where married women were trying it, and I really didn't get that. Like I guess they were struggling in their marriages. They saw me, and let me give big boy a try over here. I don't know what the mindset is. Like I always thought that like I'm not a threat to somebody's relationship, and even today I still don't think I am. Like if there's a couple and I'm there, and sometimes a guy might look at me a certain way if I'm making his partner or his girl laugh or whatever. Like I always try to assure them like, yo, you don't gotta worry about me. Like I'm not trying to steal your wife. I'm not trying to steal your girl. Like I'm sorry if they're laughing at my jokes. I'm sorry if I'm funny, but that's never my intention. If anything, it could be your insecurities, but if you feel like, hey, she's being too friendly with me, call me out on it. I'll stop. I won't talk to your wife or your girl no more out of respect for you. but you should probably also address her as well. I actually asked my teacher um, about this next story because I actually wanted to put this person out there. I wanted to put this woman out there, name, face, and all that stuff. Um, and he told me I shouldn't do it. To just tell the story as a and give it off as a warning. So I'll do that. So there's this woman who still is going around on social media, specifically targeting Christian men. And what she's doing is she's being flirtatious, saying things like, "Hi, I think you're cute, XYZ." And she just, I don't know what her end goal is, but I ended up being one of her next, guys that she wanted to mess with. And by all means, this is a very attractive woman. She's conventionally attractive. Um, she has a body, pretty face, all that stuff. She's messaging me now. This is like not too long ago. We're talking like maybe 1-2 years ago, and she messages me saying, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm in a place now when something like that happens, especially on social media. I immediately check out that person's profile to see, okay, why are you talking to me? Do we have mutual friends? What's your story? I click on her profile. It's a private profile, but I do see that she had friends that I was familiar with. One of them was another pastor, and as we're conversating, I ask her, "Well, how do you know this pastor?" And she told me that she used to go to his church, but she don't go there no more. XYZ, and that kind of made me less um, apprehensive about the conversation because I'm like, I don't want to say that my self esteem is low now. I'm actually a lot more confident in who I am. Whatever comes my way comes my way. I'm like I said, I'm available. But this woman, now mind you, during this time, like I said, it was 1-2 years ago. I'm already emotionally and mentally, spiritually invested in a girl that I've been praying about. And so any other woman is just somebody in the way. And I'm trying to tell this woman this, like, I appreciate, what you're saying. You are very attractive. I hope you find someone that's good to you. But I'm currently interested in someone else. And she said, "Oh, well, we can still be friends." And that's already a red flag for me. Because if I'm already telling you I'm interested in somebody else and you're not respecting that, that's a red flag. Now, what was my fault was that I kept entertaining the conversation. And like, listen, maybe we can be friends. Maybe, sure, whatever. Like, and I forgot where the conversation was going. She sends a picture, and at first it's just a picture of her in a bikini, right? And I'm like, oh no, I see where this is going. And she's asking questions like, "Do you like what you see?" And I'm like, and I'm kicking myself now because despite everything that I had just said, that I'm invested in somebody, emotionally invested in all this stuff, she caught me off guard with the photo, and I was stupid enough to say, "Yeah, you're very attractive. That's a nice pic." I didn't outright say, "Yeah, I like what I see," but I told her, "You're very attractive. That's a nice picture." Whatever the case is, she left me alone for about 5-10 minutes. Another photo, and much like with the sex video, I had Kitty in my face. I had Kitty in my face and starfish. If you catch my drift, I'm gonna need more than brainwash to tell the story. She threw all that at my face, and now it's like, she's reaching out for that, that natural instinct in me, that carnal instinct in me. And it's like now that girl that I was thinking and praying about is like floating, out of sight, because now this girl is presenting. And we continued the conversation. And at first, I thought this was fake. I thought this was like a person just trying to troll or whatever, trying to get money. And so, foolishly, like I'm still entertaining the conversation. I'm like, "What? Can you show me a video of that? This is really you? Can you like?" I think I asked her to send a video of her throwing the peace sign up or whatever. Well, she sends a video, but she sends another video of her doing things to herself that I cannot mention, especially since this is gonna be on YouTube. That will probably get me flagged. Don't use your imagination, but you know what I'm saying. The conversation kept going, and it eventually led to what most men would do in that situation, and we'll leave it at that. I immediately blocked her, muted her, kept her away. But after you know falling to sin, and I just want to preface, like I didn't sleep with her. Never met the woman. But after falling to sin, I felt so brokenhearted about what I did, and yeah, I'm sorry for the jump edit. You probably saw why. That was crazy. Like I felt like I was under attack. I didn't like that at all. So anyway, before I got attacked, yeah, I just started crying to the people I needed to cry to. I cried to my parents. I cried to my teacher, my friend in the faith, David, my brother in the faith, David. Um, just expressing what had happened and how disappointed I was in myself. And again, I want to pre-emphasize, I didn't sleep with her, but I felt the sin. Now, what's funny, and I had mentioned it earlier, is that this was a woman who was um, prowling with other brothers in the faith, and I didn't know that until I talked to my teacher, and I was describing to him what had happened, and he said, "Well, that sounds odd, and that sounds familiar. Do you by chance have a picture of her?" And I send him that picture of the girl. And you want to know what he told me?
But avoid her as hell. You don't want to deal with her. You don't want nothing to do with this woman.
So, like I said, she's been victimizing, not victimizing. She's been like basically prowling, searching for guys specifically from church to try to make fall and lure them into whatever. I don't know if she's asking for money. I don't know if she's really trying to link up with guys to spread something, or if this is some kind of spiritual thing she's trying to do. But she found me again. She found me again on WhatsApp, and this is about a month ago. Now, I don't know how she found me because I never gave this woman my number. And as far as I always knew, in order to find someone on WhatsApp, you have to have their number. So I don't know. But I didn't recognize her initially. It was a completely different picture. But the conversation sounded familiar. Hi, how you doing? I like you. You're cute. And then once I realized, what she was doing, I I looked at her name and I went back to my block list on Instagram, and lo and behold, it was her. And I told her, "Oh, it's you, the one who sent me the pictures, etc., etc." And she's like, "Yes, that's me. Did you like those pictures that I sent you?" And I'm like, "Okay, since I know who you are, I'm blocking you. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're looking for. I think I said something to the gist of, I hope things get better for you, but I'm not doing this no more. I'm leaving." And she said, "No, I'm leaving. I'm gonna block you again." And she's like, whoa, no, no, whoa, 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 no, that wasn't me. I was hacked. I would never send those pictures, those kind of pictures to you. I'm not that kind of girl. And yet you just said, or I'm sorry, you just asked if I like those pictures you sent. And so I didn't entertain that apps, and I thank God I didn't. You learn, and I blocked her. Again, I don't know how she found me. I don't know if she plans to try to do this again a year later or whatever. I don't care. I don't really care to. It's like I said, she was an attractive woman, but she's an ugly woman if you know what I'm saying. I don't know, man. There's something symbolic about brainwash being the drink of tonight. Renew the mind. That's what? Romans chapter 12 verse 2. I know my Bible. I guess the last story I want to tell, and I really kind of want to be very careful with how I tell the story because it's kind of sensitive in nature. And again, in respecting the people involved. So, as I mentioned earlier, I had opportunities to do this with different kinds of women, including um, married women. Now, I honor marriage. Like, my hope and my desire is that I'll find someone who will love me willingly, who won't consider my love overbearing or a burden, who will defend our love. If we start off as friends, she'll defend our friendship, that kind of thing. Like that's exactly what I want. I honor and desire marriage. But um, there was a point where there was a woman who was married. She's still married, and she made it abundantly clear that she liked me and she was attracted to me. Now, I kind of always pushed it to the side because it was just because again, I'm not messing with a married woman. I know better. Now, there was a time where I found myself alone with this woman, and hmm, and and we have a friendship as far as I know we do. And we were alone. Um and while we were alone, she started to clean up some stuff, and while she was cleaning, I'm just sitting on the couch just trying to like I forgot what I was doing, but she comes across to pick up stuff on the floor, and she purposefully bends over in front of me. She bends over in front of me, and then she looks back at me, doesn't say a word, and she goes back. She goes to throw away the trash or whatever she was doing. She comes back and sits on the couch with me, and now we're talking. And for the most part, it's a very normal conversation. But it's very, very tense, or at least I felt it was. And then the next thing you knew, she's like, "Oh, you just need to relax and just chill a bit." And she proceeds to grab me and tries to pull me down on the couch. And she tries to laugh it off and play it off. Now, I automatically sat back up. And I think this was because, again, I think I was emotionally invested in someone else at the time. But this woman was I can't even explain it really. And we kind of almost ignored what just happened. But we both know what could have happened. And that incident with that married woman, it left something in me for a very, very long time. And I think that was because, unlike the other stuff that was, audio or texting or whatever, this was physical. even if it wasn't something outright sexual, like it was like literally just grabbing me and trying to pull me down. It was like it's hard to explain, but it did something. Like I really could have done something with this woman who was married, and her husband would have never have known, and it stuck with me, and it stuck with me for the wrong reasons. Because long after that had happened, I kept repeating that moment in my head over and over and over. Because again, this is a woman that most would consider conventionally attractive, not ugly by any means. And it was like, yo, you really could have been with this woman, or if not been with this woman, you could have slept with her. And the problem was, like I said, we were friends, and we have that kind of connection. So now it's just like she was heavy in my head all the time, and I caught myself starting to get strong feelings for this man's wife. This was years ago. If I could like estimate the time, this was more than 10 years ago, probably 15 years ago, somewhere around that ballpark. And it boiled to a point where I was actually very close to saying that I was falling in love with this man's wife. And once I knew I had gotten to that point, that's when I started to pray to God, like, I can't do this. I can't be in love with someone who isn't mine. Like that. That's not mine to. That's not my mountain to conquer. That's not, my woman to claim. And ultimately, I wrote a song. And it's in my I Need Help EP. It's called La Douleur Exquise. I think I'm pronouncing it right. It's a French term. And it's a French term that means the exquisite pain of loving someone you can never be with, or being in love with someone, or desiring someone you can never be with. And obviously, I felt that way because I was falling for someone who was married. And I I just I think that up to that point that was the most transparent song I've ever written, and most people don't know about it. I think because it's not one of those songs you really you really perform. Like, hey guys, here's my for my next song. This is about when you're in love with a married woman. All right, DJ, hit my music. It's not something you just outright perform. And in the beginning of that song, I say, they say that I should fight for love until the bell sings, but it's dangerous when you dance around the ring. And the metaphor and the symbolism here obviously is, under normal circumstances, when it's a person who's not married and you two are together, yeah, you should fight for your relationship. You should fight for love. But then on the other side, the next line I say, but it's dangerous when you dance around the ring. In boxing, traditionally, when you're boxing in the ring, one of the last things you actually want to do is dance around the ring because that can really get you got. But besides it being a metaphor for a boxing ring, it's a metaphor for a wedding ring. Like, but it's dangerous when you dance around the. Sorry, it's dangerous when you dance around the ring. And the rest of the story kind of unfolds in the song. I don't remember all the lyrics because again, it's not a song you just really perform out of nowhere. But I think writing that song kind of aided in my release of it because it's like, yeah, you can't be with her because she belongs to someone else. And like I said, that clung on to me for a long time. I would say like for a good 3, 4 years that clung on to me, but because it was a matter of physical touch. Keep in mind, we went from simply texting and audio stuff to visual stuff to now physical touch, and it was like a escalating attack of the enemy, slowly and slowly but surely, getting worse and worse and worse. So I don't know, and I pray that that's not what's going on. That the next attack that comes in this kind of form, you know, is worse than that. Because again, I've grown a lot. I've gotten a lot more wisdom, a lot more discernment, and so I'm constantly praying about that. Especially now with, like I said before, recently happened. Um, this past weekend, I'm really have been more guarded with my heart, and I've been guarded with who I choose to emotionally, mentally invest myself in, spiritually invest myself in, protecting my heart in that regard. And I've just been getting closer with God, reading the scriptures more. Currently reading the story of Job, studying the story of Job, because I think it kind of reflects the pain that I've been through recently. Obviously, nowhere near as bad as Job. Like, Job had everything taken away from him. I just got a broken heart because of, again, that's none of your business. At least not for now. I don't think. I'm trying to be transparent to a degree. I've never had problems sharing details about my life, but there's some things you obviously keep personal. So I'm trying to keep that part personal. But like I said, I just dealt with a broken heart. Um, Frustrated, upset, um, even angry about what happened. But in comparison to Job, who done lost everything, like back to back to back, yeah, it's no comparison. But pain is universal, so I'm studying how this man dealt with his pain and what ultimately God was teaching in that pain. So that's where I'm at now. But yeah, yeah. So those are pretty much the encounters I've had. It hasn't been much worse than that, thank God. Um, if any of you women who that you are the women I'm referring to in this story, I forgive you. I hold no ill will towards you. I bless your marriages. I pray that you and your husband love each other more and more every day, and that nothing divides you. And I just hope that um, that if you are listening and you know who you are, and this rehashed that memory, that it wasn't that it's not again to glorify what happened, is to expose the darkness. I'm saying that's what we're called to do, is to expose the darkness, and with the intent to grow from it and to not look back. Well, that's it. So those are the little things that happened to me, and I'm so glad I came out on top, like in terms of those battles. There's a lot of believers who can't say the same, and that's not me judging at all. I hope every man who's faced with that kind of temptation, and woman that's faced with that kind of temptation, they can just run like Joseph. But if not, and you do fall, it's not the end of the world. God forgives, God restores, and God can rebuild. And if you are one of those people who felt the temptation, I pray for you. You're not a lost cause. Um, Sometimes rebuilding and being restored can hurt, and it can suck really bad, but it's not the end of the world. And God can still tell a beautiful story through you. So stay encouraged. I'm just saying, like, the next time I see a naked woman in front of me, the only booty and kitty I want to see in front of me is my wife's. I'm just saying. All right. Story time's over. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I've actually been wanting to do this one for a long, long time, and I feel like now's a good time to tell them, um, so I can in a way release that because some of the stuff sometimes is still kind of like, you know what I'm saying. But I feel like this form of confession, I guess, helps release it. It's gone. It's gone. Vamoose. We drink. There's nothing in this can. So if you like this kind of content, if you like the podcast, like, comment, and subscribe. I also have a gaming channel that I'm going to be. I said this last time too. Like I said, that last weekend took me out. I have a gaming channel. I'm going to be rebooting the comedy stuff. Hopefully, me and my buddy Oscar will can do something with it. Excuse me. Hopefully, me and my buddy Oscar can do something with the Bizarre Vibes podcast, and like, I'll link this to in my description. Uh, and like I said, if you don't want to buy it directly from the link, which I suggest you do, it might help me in the end. If not, like I said, I got this from my local grocery outlet. Give it a try. You might like it. Do I feel more focused and energized? Did this shake my noodle and filled me with heck yeah? Um, Maybe after this, I don't know. Ah, no, there was still some in it. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. God bless you. Um, Hopefully, I will be doing some more not so serious stuff, but we'll see what happens. Shout out to my sister in the faith, Lisa. She's actually suggested that I try doing vlogging, like recording my day. I might do that. She also suggested that I probably do a podcast one day about my writing process, which was this actually was done based on a poll. I put a poll on my Instagram about what should the next episode be, and it was 50-50. It was either going to be about my writing process and my music or this subject. It was a tie, so I asked Siri to flip a coin. It was heads, which was this one. So you can probably guess that next episode will be about my writing process in music, how I create my music, and that should be fun. All right, I think I'm done yapping. God bless you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and stay thirsty and stay curious. Take it easy.